What is up, YouTube? Today we finna be playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. See, this is my first time playing the game. Never played it before. I don't know if y'all ever seen it before, but I just found it and decided, I'm gonna play this game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting room. Meeting room. I'm just follow the open doors.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Reverse psychology.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Maybe I should enter the door on my left. But hey, it's too late now.
Yes, this room. What a beautiful, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I should have listened to what he said. What if I don't listen this time, though? I'm gonna listen.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
See what they got going on. Tips report. Is that a gun with a dead person on it? That's not screened at all. What type of company is this? To do. Okay. Broom closet. Whole time you can open doors and I didn't know that. Okay, that door locked.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Can't pick none of this up. Can I crouch?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Bro, mad suspicious. Oh no.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You know what? Let's just go back upstairs. I don't know. That John look a little suspicious to me. So we just finna go back upstairs. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the bosses suffer losses, then that's what the boss chose. Loki don't think the boss wrote that, but okay. Is this supposed to be some type of horror game?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yo, what is this?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I'm low-key scared. No, actually, it's not low-key scary, I can't lie.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Whoa. I did not know this game was gonna be this good. Now, should I go Mind Control Facility or should I go Escape? Now hold on. The average normal person in the human world would go Escape, right? But no, I'm filming a YouTube video, so I gotta go Mind Control Facility. I got to.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Let go, Stanley. Oh, so we can't escape no more. Well, too bad. Mind lie, bro. Who is bro's boss? No. I will not be hitting that button. I should have just escaped. Ain't gonna lie. I gotta go live and replay this game. And next time,
monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
fire. Ain't gonna lie, I gotta play this game on live. I got to. No, cause I gotta take the different routes. Like, what would have happened if I would have escaped?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Yes, Stan. It's true.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Yes,
Wasn't
Stan.
it? Was it even possible? Had he
No,
truly
Stan.
spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
And how will you be doing that? Oh, I'm gonna cut the power. Makes sense. See, like, what the boss
And
just
when at
come
last
though?
he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation.
Nah, ain't gonna lie. You two, I'm gonna be right back with this one. Cause, well, y'all ain't gonna see it, but I'm gonna be right back. Alright, what finna happen?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments
What's
away.
going on, chat? I mean, what's
And yet,
going on?
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
What's
How
going
had he
on?
been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
I'm
But as
crouched, by the way.
sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
With the
No
free.
longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley
Yo, wait,
stepped
the
through
free.
the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of
Yo,
liberation, the immense possibility of the new path.
I still
before
got
him.
questions though.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
I still got
And
questions.
Stanley was happy.
Whoa, hold on. The game ended that fast? Hold on, what just happened? What just happened?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, y'all, I guess that means this the end of the game. But this time, I'm finna play it again. Cause this was a short video.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What would be different? Wait. Wait, and the other one?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Whoa, bro, this game is really tripping me out, bro. It is really tripping me out. Oh no, chat.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I told you we finna be different.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't
Stanley is delusional.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
This game is actually crazy.
I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, For just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane.
What?
I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
W gang. W freaking gang. We need claps in the chat. I just want to see one more thing though. We already looking at a 20-minute video.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I just want to do one more thing. I got a rage bait.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I gotta see this.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Bro, what the freak? They locked the broom closet though.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I will be walking up to my boss's office. Nah, I'm straight.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Hold on, let me see something.
Stanley just sat around, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code.
This time we're finna escape.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Or Jill, we just gone, yeah. This game actually not too bad. I do recommend y'all trying this.
Mind control facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Ain't gonna lie, we finna end the game right here. If y'all want me to go down this hallway and see what happens, we need to get this video to at least 30 views, and I need at least 10 likes or close to 10 likes. But everybody be safe, and thanks for watching the video. Peace.